Hello YouTube, 大家好, this is Jeffrey and welcome to Jyutping, a place where you can find useful information for you to learn Cantonese Chinese as a foreign language. Now that you're interested in Cantonese Chinese and you want to start learning it. But the problem is, where do we start? In today's video, I'm going to give you a basic idea on how Cantonese texts are structured. So I'll be dissecting a piece of Cantonese text and see from where should we start learning the language. I'll also give you a primer on Jyutping, a Romanisation scheme for Cantonese. Ready? Let's get started.
請小心，請小心，請小心月台。
So it's been quite a while since I last uploaded a YouTube video. Things have been really busy for me in the past month, and unfortunately I've caught COVID. Now that I've recovered, I'll start making videos again. So thank you very much for your patience and sorry for the wait. Okay, now that we have a piece of Cantonese text, or a dialogue actually, you can see that standard Cantonese text, like many other languages you speak, are made up of sentences, 句子. And in this piece of text, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences. Now let's zoom into one of the sentences here. You can see that sentences consist of two components. The first component is punctuations, 標點. Punctuations in Chinese work pretty much the same as those in other languages and are fairly straightforward. So I'm not going to talk much about that in this video. The second component, or the major part, are the characters, 字. As you can see, there are around 20 to 30 characters in this sentence, which could be considered a medium to long sentence. Of course, the length of a sentence varies, from the shortest of 1 character long and the longest of perhaps a few dozen characters. Chinese characters, to be frank, can be intimidating. I know it takes a lot of time and effort to learn them, and they are hard to recognize and hard to write. And to be a competent user of the Chinese language, one would be learning up to around 3,000 to 4,000 characters. But let's not be scared. For language learning, it's a long journey and we don't have to learn the characters just yet. Instead, I just want to show you a big picture on how the language is structured. To read the characters, remember that all Cantonese characters are monosyllabic. That means each character corresponds to one syllable when you pronounce it. Okay, now let's zoom in a bit more and focus on this expression. 知道, it means to know. Now you get what I mean. 2 characters, 2 syllables, nothing more and nothing less. It's also worth noting that depending on the meaning of the character, or the part of speech of the word, the pronunciation might change. Just like in these examples. Notice how the pronunciations have changed when the same characters are placed into different expressions. So on the left we have 知道, and on the right we have 知識 and 道理. So instead of learning character by character, I would suggest learning Cantonese in the unit of expressions. Now we go even deeper and see what these letters and numbers mean. They are the phonetic symbols of the characters in the system of Jyutping. Jyutping is a phonetic system for Cantonese developed by the Linguistic Society of Hong Kong in 1993. It spells out the Cantonese words using 22 alphabets and 6 numbers, and they indicate their pronunciations. So while you're catching up with the 3,000 or so characters, which definitely takes some time, Jyutping is going to help you a lot in learning the expressions and pronunciations without really knowing the characters. In the next few videos, I'll be focusing on teaching Jyutping. And now I'm going to give you a primer on how Jyutping is used. But first, I have to stress that Jyutping is not the only romanization scheme for Cantonese. There are several other systems out there being used by esteemed linguists and researchers. I'm using the Jyutping system here because of its relative ease to learn and to type. And it's also being used in many other Cantonese learning materials. So if you're interested, feel free to also explore other options that suit you. Here in this example of a two-character expression, you can see that a character can be broken down into three main parts: the onset, 聲母, the final, 韻母, and the tone, 字調. So they're marked in different colors. The onset marks the beginning of the character, and there are altogether 19 onsets in the Jyutping system, which I'll be going through them one by one in the videos to come. Also, not all characters have onsets. Some characters only have a final and a tone. The second component is the final. It's also sometimes called the rhyme. It marks the terminal sound of the character. The final can be further broken down into two parts: the nucleus, 韻腹, and the coda, 韻尾. Okay, now we have lots of color here. There are a total of 9 nuclei and 8 coda in the Jyutping system. All finals must have a nucleus, but some goes without the coda, and they are called the main vowels. There are also several characters that goes without finals, but those are the odd cases. After talking about the onsets and the finals, now we have the tone, 字調. Cantonese is a tonal language, and traditionally it's said to have 9 tones, but the good news is, in Jyutping we only have to learn 6, and that is enough for us to pronounce all the Cantonese words. That confusion between 6 and 9 tones is an advanced linguistic topic that, if you're really interested, I might do another video to cover that. Tones are very, very important in Cantonese, and every character must have a tone attached. It's also an area where many Cantonese learners find difficult. I will be covering the tones in depth in a future video. But now, just try your best to remember that the 6 tones are C, 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 C. Okay, I repeat. C, 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 C. So we've gone through the basics of Jyutping. Now you know that there could be a few possible combinations of Cantonese characters, and they are: the first, onset plus nucleus plus coda plus tone, which we have an example of 一, which means 1. And the second possible combination is onset plus nucleus plus tone, which we have the example of 二, which means, you guessed it, 2. And the third possible combination is nucleus plus coda plus tone, like this one, on. And we have the rarer combinations of only the nucleus plus the tone, like this one, And finally, we have the case where there is only the onset and the tone, which do happens, but in rare cases, such as here, which coincidentally means 5. And that's it. Now you know how Cantonese text and characters are structured. In the upcoming videos, we'll dive right into the realm of Jyutping, and I'll first introduce to you some onsets. Stay tuned, and before you leave, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and share this video to your fellow Canto learners, and also follow us on Instagram. 我哋下條片見，see you in the next video，拜拜啦。